My wife cheated with her coworker, so I let him fall in love with my best friend, who knew everything and helped me ruin them both. It all started with a printer problem, something stupid, mundane. My laptop wouldn't connect, so I reached for Emily's MacBook to print a file. She was in the shower. I didn't ask. I didn't think I needed to. We've been married for 5 years. We share a home, a mortgage, a bed. What's a laptop? I just needed to open the document from my cloud drive. That's it. But when I opened Finder, I saw a folder that didn't belong with the rest. Among the usual work, taxes, and photos was one labeled simply, Us Time. It wasn't hers and mine. I knew that instantly. We hadn't had us time in months, not real intimate time. That folder felt wrong, like seeing a diary lying open on a stranger's bed. But I clicked it. There were 3 video files, no thumbnails, just dates. My heart was already pounding, even though I told myself it was nothing, just vacation clips or stupid birthday messages. Still, I opened the most recent one. I only got a few seconds in. It was her, Emily, naked, on her knees, moaning a name that wasn't mine, Jason. The moment I heard it, something inside me snapped. My brain tried to reject it, deny it, but my eyes had already seen too much. Her body, her voice, her pleasure, and his hands. Familiar hands. A tattoo on his shoulder I'd seen once at her office party. Jason, her coworker. The funny guy, she always said, made everyone feel comfortable. The guy she swore was harmless. I slammed the laptop shut like it had burned me. My hands were trembling. My skin felt hot and cold all at once. I stumbled back, knocking over a chair. My throat tightened until I couldn't breathe. She had recorded it, saved it, kept it like a goddamn trophy. My chest heaved. I pressed my fists into my eyes, like I could erase the image burned into my brain. I paced the kitchen, back and forth, back and forth. I opened the fridge, stared at nothing, closed it, tried to calm myself. Couldn't. She came out of the bathroom a minute later, towel around her, humming some stupid pop song like nothing had happened. She saw me standing there, white as a sheet, jaw clenched, and tilted her head. "Hey, what's going on?" I didn't answer, just pointed toward the couch where her laptop still sat, lid closed but radioactive. She frowned, walked over, and opened it. I watched her face crumble, the color drained, her mouth opened, then closed. No words came. "You've been fucking Jason?" I said. Not a question, not a whisper, a fact. She staggered backward, her hand over her chest like I just shot her. I can explain." "Don't. It was a mistake." "No," I cut in. "A mistake is kissing someone at a bar when you're drunk. A mistake is sending a text you regret. You don't accidentally film yourself screwing your coworker and then store it in a neatly labeled folder." Her mouth trembled. She started crying. Real tears. Ugly ones. Her shoulders shook. "I was lonely, Mark. You've been so distant. We haven't... Don't you dare turn this on me." My voice cracked. I could feel the rage rising, mixing with grief and disbelief, and something so much deeper. Betrayal that didn't just hurt. It hollowed. She kept talking, apologizing, justifying, saying it was just once, that it didn't mean anything, that Jason didn't matter, that I mattered, that she didn't know why she did it, but she regretted it, and she wanted to fix it. I couldn't hear any more. I walked away, hands on my head, trying not to punch a hole in the drywall. I went into the garage, stood there for a long time, staring at the toolbox I'd used to build our shelves, install our lights, fix the sink she once dropped a wine glass into. I gripped the edge of the workbench and tried to breathe. When I finally came back in, she was sitting on the floor, knees to her chest, mascara streaked down her cheeks. I didn't look at her. I grabbed my keys. "Where are you going?" she asked, voice barely above a whisper. "Out." "Can we talk about this?" "No." "Please." I turned back just once. She looked so small, so afraid, so broken. But I didn't feel sorry for her, because I was the one bleeding on the inside. I drove for hours that night. No music, no destination. Just me and the road and the echo of her voice calling out another man's name. By the time I pulled back into our driveway, the sun was starting to rise. I slept on the couch. Didn't say a word when she brought me coffee in the morning. Didn't touch the eggs she made, like always. Didn't answer when she said, "Good morning." That's when the silence started. That quiet, bitter, suffocating silence that settles over a house when the people inside have run out of excuses, but not out of resentment. I didn't leave her, not yet. Not because I forgave her, God, no. I stayed because part of me wanted her to sit with it, to look at the man she'd broken every time she walked past the couch. I wanted her to feel the silence, the rotting atmosphere between us. I wanted her to breathe the same air she'd poisoned. The days after I found that video didn't feel real. They felt like static. I went to work. I answered emails. I responded when people asked questions. But I wasn't there. I was floating somewhere above myself, watching a stranger pretend everything was fine. At home, the tension was unbearable. We didn't fight. We didn't speak. We just coexisted, two bodies orbiting the same space, careful not to collide. She still made dinner like she always had. Chicken and rice, stir-fry, pasta. But now, she'd place the plate in front of me and walk away before I could say anything. I never did. I stopped sleeping in our bed. The couch became my territory. She didn't argue. We avoided eye contact like it might set us both on fire. Some nights, I'd hear her crying in the bedroom, soft, stifled sobs through the wall. Once, I saw her standing in the hallway at 2 a.m., just watching me sleep like she wanted to say something, but couldn't. I wish I could say I felt something when I saw her like that. Sadness, rage, pity. But there was nothing left, just static. Then came the drinking. It started with one glass of bourbon before bed. Something to take the edge off. But the edge was jagged, and one glass wasn't enough. Soon it became 2. Then 3. Then I stopped waiting for nightfall. It didn't matter what time it was. I just needed to not feel. I found a bar a few miles from our house. Quiet. Diamond Soys. The kind of place where you could disappear into the walls. The bartender stopped asking for my ID after the 3rd visit. The regulars learned to leave me alone. I became a fixture, just another sad man with dead eyes and a full glass. That bar became my church, my confession booth, my escape. And then one night, the devil walked in. Jason? I almost didn't recognize him at first. He was wearing a hoodie, jeans, a baseball cap pulled low. But when he laughed, this fake, charming, overly confident laugh, it hit me like a freight train. It was him. My blood boiled. I gripped my glass so tightly I thought it might shatter. My body tensed, my jaw clenched. I wanted to stand up and punch him straight through the floor. But I didn't. He didn't notice me. Why would he? I was nobody to him. Just a husband he had unknowingly destroyed, a footnote in his conquest. And that gave me power. I watched him order a whiskey. Neat. He scrolled his phone like he didn't have a care in the world. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he thought Emily had deleted the video. Maybe he thought he was in the clear. I ordered another round. One for me, one for him. The bartender passed it down. Jason looked over, confused. I raised my glass. He raised his. And just like that, I sat down next to the man who fucked my wife. Rough day? I asked casually. He chuckled. Aren't they all? We talked for an hour, not about anything important. Sports, work, music. He told me he was in marketing. I told him I was between things, which wasn't far from the truth. I was between who I used to be and whoever I was becoming. He told me dating sucked, that modern relationships were a joke, that women were either too clingy or too cold. He didn't mention Emily. I didn't mention her either. I didn't need to. I left that bar more sober than I had been in weeks. Not in the literal sense, I was still tipsy, but something had shifted inside me. For the first time since that night, I felt awake. I came home to a quiet house. The lights were off. Emily was probably in bed, curled up alone, waiting for a version of me that no longer existed. I stood outside our bedroom door for a moment, hand on the handle. I could hear her breathing, software steady. Maybe she was finally asleep. Maybe she was pretending. I didn't open it. I went back to the couch, laid down, and smiled, because a plan was forming. I didn't need to scream. I didn't need to rage. I just needed to become someone Jason would let his guard down around. Someone he'd never see coming. Someone who could offer him exactly what he always chased: validation, admiration, attention. And when the time was right, I'd introduce him to someone who could bring his whole world down. But not yet. First, I had to become his friend. It was just another Thursday night at the bar. Same stool, same glass, same silence. Jason showed up late, as usual, tossing his keys on the counter like he owned the place. He greeted the bartender with that confident nod people use when they think they're charming. I watched him from the corner of my eye. Same cologne, same cocky smile. He ordered something expensive and unnecessary. I could tell he'd had a good week, or maybe he just thought he had. He didn't notice her at first. Claire slid onto the stool 2 seats down from him, like she belonged there. She didn't look at either of us. Just ordered a whiskey, neat. Same as me, same as Jason. She was dressed simple. Jeans, leather jacket, a dark red lip that said more than words ever could. Her hair was pinned back carelessly, like she didn't care, and somehow looked better because of it. I didn't wave, didn't smile, just sip my drink and let the pieces move. She knew exactly what to do. Jason noticed her around drink too. Maybe it was the lipstick. Maybe it was the way she laughed at something the bartender said. Whatever it was, I saw the shift. He straightened up, turned just a little in her direction. By drink 3, he was trying to find a way in. "Rough day?" he asked her, echoing the line he'd once used on me. Claire didn't turn, just raised her glass slightly. "Aren't they all?" He grinned, hook set. They chatted. I listened without listening, pretending to check my phone, scroll through nothing, sip slowly. Jason was laying it on thick, talking about his job, how demanding it was, how he was in between serious things right now. Claire matched him step for step, cool and distant, giving just enough to keep him chasing. He asked what she did. "Law," she said simply, not offering more. He nodded like he understood. He didn't. When she got up to use the restroom, Jason turned to me. "She's something, huh?" I shrugged. "She comes in sometimes. Cool chick." "Not a lie, just not the whole truth." He leaned in. "Think she's seeing anyone?" "Wouldn't know." He smiled to himself, and just like that, it began. Claire came back. He bought her a drink. She let him. They talked for another hour before she said she had to go. No number, no kiss, just a lingering look and a quick, "Maybe I'll see you around." Jason watched her leave like a man who just lost a winning lottery ticket. I gave him nothing, but inside, I was already 5 moves ahead. Over the next week, Claire returned twice more, always unannounced, always alone. Jason just happened to be there each time, just happened to get a little braver with each meeting. She let him take her number on the 3rd night. He thought he was winning. He had no idea. At home, things with Emily were exactly the same. Cold, silent, mechanical. We passed each other like strangers in the hallway. She tried to start small talk once, asked if I'd need the car on Saturday. I said no. That was the whole conversation. She still cooked, still folded laundry, still pretended we were okay in the quiet, robotic way people do when they know it's over but don't want to say it. But something in her shifted the night Jason sent Claire flowers. She found the note on our front step. Claire had given his real name, just to make sure. Emily didn't ask, didn't scream, just left the envelope on the kitchen counter and went to bed early. Her silence spoke volumes. Jealousy is funny like that. You can cheat, Lieutenant, betray, and still burn with rage when the person you cheated with moves on to someone else. Jason, of course, had no idea the fuse had been lit. He was busy texting Claire things like, "You're different," and "I don't usually open up like this." She sent back smiley faces and LOLs. Played the game perfectly. She never slept with him. Didn't need to. Jason was already hooked. Emily was already unraveling. And me? I just watched. Quiet, patient, waiting for the perfect moment to knock over the first domino. It didn't take long for the cracks to spread. Jason started acting strange, more paranoid, more possessive. He texted Claire more often, asked where she was, what she was doing. He started showing up unannounced. Once, he waited outside the bar for her for nearly an hour because she hadn't responded. Claire played it perfectly. She kept her replies vague, her tone light. She never gave him enough to feel secure, and that drove him insane. Meanwhile, Emily began unraveling in her own quiet way. She stayed up late, alone, scrolling her phone in the dark. She drank more wine. Her smiles at work, what few remained, turned brittle. She didn't say anything to me, but I could feel the weight of her silence. It pressed against the walls of the house like humidity. Then one night, everything tipped. Jason showed up at Claire's apartment uninvited. He brought flowers and a bottle of wine. She didn't let him in. He got angry, not loud, not violent, but something in his face changed. The charm cracked. Claire texted me that night. "He's slipping." Soon? I knew what that meant. 2 days later, she invited him to dinner. Public place, neutral ground. She picked the restaurant, a trendy spot downtown where she knew the staff and could leave at any time. I followed 10 minutes behind and took a seat at the bar, out of sight, but close enough to hear. Claire was dressed in white, clean, sharp, blinding under the dim lights. Jason looked tired, sweaty, like he hadn't slept. He tried to kiss her cheek when he arrived. She turned her head. They ordered, talked. Claire let him vent. He complained about mixed signals, about games. She just nodded. Then she asked him sweetly, "So how's Emily?" His face froze. Claire leaned forward, voice quiet but firm. "You didn't think I knew?" Jason stammered, tried to laugh it off. "What are you talking about?" Claire pulled out her phone, set it on the table, pressed play. It was a screenshot slideshow, messages, photos, the kind that make your stomach drop and your brain short-circuit. Jason went pale. Claire smiled like a woman who just finished the last move in a 10-hour chess match. "You played with the wrong people." He stood up, muttering something under his breath, and bolted from the restaurant. She didn't follow. She ordered dessert. I paid the bill. That night, Claire posted a photo on Instagram. Just a glass of red wine, her hand resting casually on the table, with the caption, "Not everything broken is worth fixing." Jason ghosted everyone for days. Then Emily cracked. She came home drunk, slammed her bag on the floor, said she wanted to talk. "I know about her," she spat. "Claire?" I asked calmly. "She's just using him." I shrugged. "Funny, that's what he said about you." Her face twisted. "So this was your plan? Sit back and watch us destroy each other?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. She already knew. She started crying again. Angry tears, frustrated, messy, bitter. "I didn't mean to fall for him," she said. "It just happened." "No," I said. "You didn't fall. You jumped." She slept in the guest room that night. I didn't hear her cry this time. A week later, Jason was fired. Turns out HR doesn't look kindly on supervisors sleeping with their direct reports and sending unsolicited pictures from company devices. Claire may or may not have forwarded a few things anonymously. She never admitted it, never needed to. Emily left 2 weeks after that. No note, no apology, just a half-empty closet and silence. I kept the house, sold the bed, changed the locks. Claire and I never dated. That wasn't what this was. But we did meet for drinks now and then. Talked about books, politics, revenge. One night, as we clinked glasses, she asked, "So, do you feel better?" I thought about it, about Jason's face when Claire said Emily's name, about Emily's voice, cracking when she realized she was no longer the one in control, about the silence that followed, and I said, "No." She nodded. "Good. That means you're still human." We sat in silence for a while. Just two people who'd stared at the fire and walked away without getting burned. Sometimes justice doesn't come with handcuffs or courtrooms. Sometimes it comes quietly, in slow collapses and soft exits. And sometimes it wears red lipstick and smiles as it ends you.